Hello, I'm providing a brief overview of the grants management application that was designed and helped manage the CTAC Technology Transfer Program, and was designed with a good deal of flexibility in mind so that it can be used over time as the program changed to support changes in the way that the questions that were asked that were the basis for applications. And indeed, it was actually designed so that it could be easily adapted and used for other grant programs as well. So I want to walk through a couple of areas today, which will include registration. The CTAC Technology Transfer Program was a grants program for law enforcement agencies applying for investigative tools and technologies. And the registration process incorporated some checks and some validation to ensure that that we were actually dealing with a law enforcement agency, and I'll walk you through that. We'll show how those registrations are then approved by an administrator so that an agency could receive a login, a username, and a password, and then we'll show what an agency would do to go in and log in and actually apply for a grant, submit a grant, and then we'll also demonstrate how an administrator who is assigned to be a reviewer for these grants can log in and see the queue of applications that is assigned to them for review and scoring. And once those applications are reviewed and scored, in the case of CTAC, 3 individual experts would review each application for a technology transfer program application, and once those scores were received, that application would then be ranked among its peers, and that would be used to make decisions on the CTAC side for which grants were funded, or basically which grants received, which applicants received equipment. We'll also point out some of the functionality that was built here from a reporting perspective, and then also show on the admin screens that it is easy to actually go in and configure different question sets to add technologies to the catalog, etc. But let's just start quickly with a registration. So I'll click on the registration link here. And we captured the ORI, which is a unique number for agencies, for law enforcement agencies. And we actually validated those on the back end against a database. I'm just going to put in a dummy for right now, and we'll just call this a test, and I'll test mailing address, and we'll say we're in Virginia, and we'll pick a Reston zip code, and we are in Fairfax County. Oops. Up a little bit. There's Fairfax. Now, in terms of CTAC required that we capture a couple of people for one is the primary point of contact. That is the person making the grant or applying for the grant. And the second person in the case of CTAC, we also asked for the head of the agency, and that person would be contacted during the process so that we were sure that in the case of a law enforcement agency, the chief or the head of that agency was aware that someone within the organization was actually applying for a grant. So here I'll complete we'll say that I'm the chief. And put in some phone numbers. And in this case, you'll see stars next to some fields which are required. Those are determined by the admin. We can set those fields to make them required or not required. And we'll use another email. And we'll just copy the shipping address because it's always important to know the address for shipping and the address for receipt of the grant. So this is the first bit, and then we'll move into the second in a second.